This looks to me like what I expect a normal jet condensation trail to look like.
This is from a 1928 National Geographic. It says, hiding the movements of the fleet, and this is an airplane wing. This may be just a close-up of the same event, but it says laying down a smoke screen. So now we're at 1943. I'm going to show you a series of photographs. They talk about condensation at length, but no condensation trails. So there's plenty of photographs of clouds. I'll just quickly go through there. You know, there's all kinds of strange clouds. I'll show you some of those. It's called a banded. And no condensation trails or discussion of them is my point. I'll show you this. I videotaped this out here a while back. So now we're still in 1943. So this book is more detailed. I'm not going to try and prove it to you too hard, but it's full of charts. And there are no such thing as condensation trails. In fact, there's the letter C right now. Look here. Do you see the word condensation trail there? Neither do I. So here's some more text proving no condensation trails. Here's some lots of stuff to know, but nothing about contrails. Oh, now we're up to 1946, where there's still no contrails, at least in this book. Plenty of talk about it, condensation, but not about condensation trails. Got plenty of illustrations. Look familiar there? Huh? But no contrails. And back here we got no condensation trails. Here's a 57 book. Got some stuff we recognize here. So now we'll move over to some time life books. There's 4 of them here. The jet age and fighting jets don't show any contrails. And then we get here. Now I can believe this. This is art, not a photograph. Okay. Alright, believable. More art. Royal Air Force fighter planes engaged in German aircraft in Portland Harbor, 1940. Richard Urich. E-U-R-I-C-H. And here's my problem. This is January 1945. Farnsboro, Royal Air Force. January 1945. It's the end of the war almost, and jets are new. The sky is crossed in every direction by contrails of different ages. This is the International Cloud Atlas. It's 1956. This is the complete unabridged edition. The other editions of this, which I have, 1960 something and 1987, use these same photographs. I think it's a valid question to ask why. So we've got 2, 4, 6 books there, plus 4 more here, plus all the other books I've bought on this subject that are on other videos. There's about at least another half a dozen. And all we can say for certain is that contrails show up somewhere around 1944. They're not in the 43 book, the 46 book, but they're in a 56 book referring to a 1945 event. Now here's just one more interesting tidbit that might be related, might not. Better Than 1,000 Suns by Robert Yonk. Page 87. He says that UFOs were being flown in February 1945 and went 1,250 miles an hour the first time out and went to 40,000 feet, 8 miles, in 3 minutes. So he was a player in the 40s in atomic energy, knew everyone. He also speaks of getting fusion effects from using shape charges. Fusion effects from. Alright, so now it's 10:40. That's sort of west. It's sort of smearing together now. Can you see a distinct line associated with each one of those thick bands? It's hard to describe it. There's a distinct singular line in connection with these bands. And I'm recording this every couple of minutes right now. Whatever it is, it looks interesting. Let's see if those distinct bands show up on this close-up. It's just the dirt on my lens gets worse the closer I get. Yeah, I play this back to see how accurate the reproduction is, and this is pretty much what I'm seeing. It's interesting. What are these two planes doing? There should be a regular contrail visible there. Jet going down the road to the left and the right. Opposite directions.
This is not what I expect a normal jet condensation trail to look like. I don't know what this is. I do not understand why we are seeing sights like this. And this, strange, lingering, expanding jet trails. This does not look like a normal jet condensation trail to me. And neither does this. And this. What is this? Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I first became aware of the new types of jet trails in April 2002. I have researched some of the possible explanations, such as geoengineering for global warming mitigation, weather modification, and military-related modification of the atmosphere. The trails, or some of them at least, may be being used in connection with the controversial HAARP project based in Alaska. HAARP, H-A-A-R-P, is an acronym for High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program. It has ominous capabilities and possibilities. It is a major area of study itself. There is much official information, including government documents and university studies, that are on the drawing board and that are being promoted by various interests that provide clues that may be related to this disturbing new phenomenon. What is now being seen is very different than the thin, wispy contrails that were seen in the past, which quickly disappeared. In my experience, as I have seen, photographed, and videoed, the planes that fly low enough to be able to identify have no markings and do not appear to be commercial jets. Another major factor is that there is now a wide variety of recognizable types of trails with predictable dispersion rates and lingering characteristics. There are certain types of trails which are relatively short-lived, lasting only seconds. There are other types that last for hours and spread, forming a sunlight filtering white haze, sometimes so dense that it forms a white overcast. The purpose of this video is to show some examples of what has been taking place in our sky. These clips were taken in Lake County, California. The video, as you will see, is very basic. It simply presents the images the camera recorded with my comments added. Some of my comments were made at the time of the recording and are included. Making this video has not been a labor of love. I have done it because I'm greatly troubled by what I've seen and learned. I feel very much trespassed upon and violated when I see our once deep blue sky drastically altered and desecrated. We need to have the truth, and we need to have our clear blue sky back. I have comments for most of the scenes, but for a few scenes, I think that they speak for themselves in that they are not ordinary jet condensation trails and possibly not condensation trails at all. There are a number of other valid possibilities and explanations for what is shown in this video. My own conclusion is that some, perhaps many, and possibly all of the unusual jet trails and the strange man-made fake clouds may well be the result of deliberate operations. I leave it to each viewer to decide for themselves. This is the same trail a short time later. Here we see several types of trails. And trails that start and stop. Here, so it appears, are man-made clouds. Notice the line with whatever it is dispersing and drifting out. 4th of July, 1:04 p.m. in Lakeport. Warm, so I don't know why there's long contrails. This clip was taken on a warm summer afternoon in Lakeport, California. The plane, as far as I can tell, is unmarked. We can see that the trail on our right is straight and narrow. The other trail fans out and overlaps and mixes with the narrow trail. How odd. Shouldn't they match? Why don't they match? Why are they so different? As you will see, the plane continues its flight, then the trails rapidly fade to nothing except some emissions continue from only one side. Coming up out of there. Wow. Stop. Why are they coming from one side only? This 4-engine plane also appears to be unmarked. Notice that above the two obvious unusual trails is another, thinner, hazy trail. Why does a 4-engine plane leave these two odd trails with a very different third trail above? Now, let's look at this. What is that? This appears to be another unmarked plane. We can see one engine on each side. So why do we see these full-wing spray-like emissions that, as you will see, become oddly fragmented, then intermittent?